So, what do you think is the one thing that all people really want in life? And this is when people start asking, give me answers. Oh, they want a better job. Oh, they want a good family. They want this and they want that, right? Money, cars, family, friends, finding a good wife or husband. For me, it's just getting a nice cup of coffee, whatever it is, right? In the end, but if you think about it, why do people make all these choices? Like, even if you take the simplest choice of why do you order a latte when you go to the cafe? In the end, everything boils down to one thing. This is the one thing that everyone wants. And what is it? People just want to be happy. All of our choices are leading towards that one thing, which is happiness itself. Right? Why do we choose that person to marry? Why do we choose this job? Why do we want to have this car? Why do I want to eat this type of food? Why? It all has to do with, I think it's going to make me happy. I want to be happy. And this is what all people in the world really want. Now, here's the hard part, okay? So let me give you an example. This is an example. Let's say there's two people, person A and person B. And both of these people go to the same university. And let's just give me a university out there. Let's say Harvard. Everybody knows Harvard, okay? Everyone wants to go to Harvard. Not everyone, but the people who can make it, they want to go to Harvard, okay? So person A, person B both go to Harvard. Now, person A always wanted to go to Harvard their whole life. Their whole family went there, their brother went there, and it's such a big thing for their family, and they got in. Cool, that's person A. Person B, they actually wanted to go to MIT. They're like, MIT is the school I want. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, all my family, they all go to, MIT is the place, But they don't get in. So, their second choice was Harvard. Now, here's my question to you. Who's going to be happier? A or B? And of course, what does everyone say? A, right? Oh, of course A's happier. Why? Because they wanted to go and they got in. And the answer is wrong. It's not A. And everyone's gonna be like, wait. What do you mean it's not A? Is it B? And I'd be like, nope, it's not B either. It's like, what? Is this a trick question? And the answer is, it's kind of a trick question, but you can get the answer to know who will be happier with just asking each person, A and B, one question. So if I go to person A and I say one question, hey, if you go to Harvard, can you guarantee me 100% that you're going to be happy at Harvard? What are they going to say? No, I can't guarantee it. So I go to the second person, B. They wanted to go to MIT, but instead went to Harvard. My question, can you guarantee me 100% that you will be unhappy at Harvard? And the answer is what? No. There's no guarantee, which means what? It means both A and B are in the same situation. They only think they'll be happy or unhappy, but they don't really know. So if you really think about this, and this is something that throws so many people off, and it makes you think very deeply about your life too. Because think about this. How many times did you think you'd be happy, but it didn't work out? Think about high school, guys. In high school, wasn't there that girl? You're like, man, if that girl was my girlfriend, I'd be so happy. Like, it's either you or you see your friends in that situation, but what happens 3 days later? You break up. But before the time, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so happy. You finally become boyfriend, girlfriend, you break up 3 days later. Oh, this is the job for me. Oh, I've always wanted to be a doctor. I've always wanted this. I've always wanted that. And when you finally start going to medical school, you realize, oh no, I don't think this is the right thing for me. We don't know. We actually don't know what makes us happy. And if we think about it even more deeply, what is happiness? Like, what is real happiness? True happiness? What is it? And honestly, I don't think there's a real definition for it. But I would say I would give 3 guidelines to what real, true happiness is. Number 1 is this. Happiness is not something, like real happiness is not attained by getting something. It's not an external thing. You don't get happiness, oh, I'm so happy because you got a new car, because you got new clothes, because you got a new house, because you got a new whatever, right? No, those things don't determine whether you are really, truly happy. First guideline, it's not by what you have. Second thing, real happiness is not determined by your environment. What, are you only happy when it's sunny? Are you only happy when everything looks a certain way? No, like even the environment shouldn't be determining how happy you are. Why? Because even your environment can change. And I would say the most important guideline or rule for real, true happiness is it's not temporary. It's not temporary. Real, true happiness is eternal. It lasts your entire lifetime and beyond. And I would say those would be the 3 main rules of what real or true happiness is. So think about this. It's not about what you have. It's not about your environment. It's something that lasts longer than just a certain moment. So what do you have to do now? Think about this. Take everything away from yourself right now. All your clothes, all your cars, all your houses, everything, because these are things that cannot give you real happiness. So if you strip away all these things away from you, what's left? It's just you. You are the only thing that's left. In the end, where does real or true happiness start? Right? It has to start with you yourself first. It's about you, which means we need to get deeper into who you are or who we are as human beings, right? So as a human being, what is something that all human beings are striving for? What's something that we really want? What's a huge motivator for us to really, really do better things, to do harder things, to even suffer? And that's meaning. The one thing that everyone wants is meaning. That's something that we want so badly. We want something that's meaningful. We want something that has purpose. We want to have a reason to do something. Because one of the things that meaning, purpose, and reason gives us is when the meaning is really high, when the purpose is great, when the reason is worth it, it gives value. So what does that mean? Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you have I just talked about the movie about the grandmother dying, how to make millions before grandma dies, right? So let's say you have a grandmother you really, really love. You love her so much. She's taken care of you. She's done everything for you, right? And she's not rich. And what she says is right before she dies, she's like, "Oh, you're such a great son or great grandson. You've always loved me and I love you so much. And I wanted to leave you a gift before I died." And you're like, okay. And she opens her hand and there's a pen. Not even an expensive pen. Probably like, what, $2, $3. And she's like, "Oh, here's for you." And then she dies. And she leaves that pen for you. Okay? So in that situation, what happens is let's just say it's $2. You have a $2 pen. But is the value only $2? Right, let me give you a second example. In the second example, let's just say that someone found a pen while they're cleaning their house, okay? So someone just finds a pen, they're like, "Oh, look, I found a pen in the couch," right? And then they see you and they say, "Hey, guess what, buddy? I found this pen in my couch when I was cleaning it. It's for you." And you'd be like, "Oh, thanks, bro." And it's the same $2 pen. What would you do if you lost that pen? That $2 pen that your friend gave to you, the one that he found in the couch. Would you look for it all day? No, you'd be like, I lost it. It's somewhere in my room, a house. Yeah, I'll find it another time. But what if you lose the pen that your grandmother gave you before she died? Even though it's the same $2 pen. how long would you look for it? Well, you would look for it until you found it. Why? Because the meaning is what matters to us. It means something. And because of that meaning, what happens to that pen? That $2 pen is no longer a $2 pen. It is worth everything. The value skyrockets up because that's what meaning means to us as human beings. Now, what is the one thing that people should be looking for then? And what's the one thing that people are looking for in their lives right now? They're looking for the reason, the purpose, the meaning of what? Themselves. Life itself. What is the value of your life? Well, you don't know the value until you know what the meaning of your life is. You don't know the purpose of your life. You don't know the reason why you live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you that there are, when we take it like at meaning, purpose, and reason, let me tell you that there's two different types of purposes in life, okay? Because this is the crazy part about us. We don't even know why we're living, right? Most people are out there, they're just living their lives, but they don't know even why they're doing it. That's kind of a crazy thing, don't you? Don't you think that's kind of crazy? You don't even know why you're living? Because what would you think if you went to your wife or you went to your husband and you look at them and you say, hey, why did you marry me? And they look at you like this. What would you do? You'd be like, what? You don't even know why you married me. Then there's no meaning in the marriage. But when you ask people the same question, what's the meaning of life? What do you think they're going to say? But it's that important because it gives value. So in life, there are two purposes, two different types of purpose, okay? I would call them just simply the big purpose and the small purpose. Now, what's the difference between the two? Small purpose, this is what we go through in life. Small purpose is your job. Small purpose is, your friends that you choose, the school that you go to. These are small purposes, these decisions that you're making inside of your life, right? They're small. It's not going to determine the rest of your life. However, what is a big purpose? Big purpose is your entire life and beyond. It's the big questions. Why are you living? Why are you here? What is your purpose in life? How are you supposed to live your life the best way? But most people in this world will only know their small purpose. The small stuff. What they want to do. Who they want to marry. What kind of job you want. How much money you want to make. What car you want to buy. What house do you want to be living in? But let me share with you how important the big purpose is. What's the big purpose? So let me tell you the difference between big purpose, knowing big purpose, and not knowing big purpose. Let's say we're all in a war, okay? So I'm in Malaysia right now. So I'm in Malaysia and probably the country that they fight with the most, not literally fighting in war, but it's Singapore. Singapore and Malaysia always fight with each other. Who makes the best nasi lemak or who makes the best, chili crab or whatever. There's all these things that the Malaysians and Singaporeans fight over, right? America and Canada. There's no contest. Canada's better. But let's say there's a war. You're in war, in battle, guns like pew, 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 flying, wow, you hear all these bullets, bombs are going off, you can die any moment. Question, do you care how you look? Do you care if there's dirt on your face? Do you care if there's a hole in your uniform? Do you care if you don't look pretty? And the answer is no. You just care about the big purpose. What's the big purpose? It's living. Everything else doesn't matter. What if you're naked on the street? You're naked on the street, it's wintertime and snowing, and someone says, hey, here's some clothes you can have. Would you look at them and say, is it Nike? Because I only accept Nike. No. You'd be like, thank you so much. Why? Big purpose. You don't care about the small things. That's how important big purpose or knowing big purpose is. But let's flip it. Let's pretend you don't know big purpose. What's life like? Well, let's pretend you go shopping. And when you go shopping, let's say you've already got everything that you need, right? You've gotten all the clothes that you want, all the things that you need. It's all there. And your friend comes to you and says, hey, this will look good on you. Try this. I think you should buy this. When you don't have the big purpose, you don't really even need clothes. What do you start doing? You start nitpicking the small things. Yeah, it's a little bit too short. The stripes are too thick. The buttons are too small. You know what? That color's a little bit off. You know what? The price is a little bit too expensive. I don't like this material. That's what happens when you don't have big purpose. You begin to pick apart the small purposes in life. And that's what we see happening in this world today. When you don't have big purpose, the small things become huge. And it drives you into meaninglessness. It drives you into emptiness. The thing that people have to find first is big purpose. That's the thing you have to find before the small. The small, you're going to make those decisions in life anyways, but you got to find the big one. Why are you here? Why are you living? What's the purpose in life? But the biggest issue is people don't know where to look. One of the best examples I've heard about how to find your purpose, someone said to me, hey, imagine no one knew what a phone was, right? So here I have a phone here, okay? And if someone gives you this phone and it's the first time you've ever seen it, how would you know what it is? Well, you could guess and try to figure it out yourself, but you might think it's a doorstop. You might think it's a remote control. You might think it's a weapon to throw at someone. How would you know what the real purpose of that phone would be? And the answer is, ask the person who made it. Only the person that made it will know exactly what the purpose is. And only when you use it for its purpose will you genuinely be happy with that product. The person who created it is the one that knows exactly why it was made, or it knows the purpose. And what I'll tell everyone here is, there is a reason why 90% of the world identifies with a religion. They're searching for something bigger. Because if there is a creator, let's say if, right? I'm talking to a crowd that doesn't know God or doesn't think about religion or whatever. If there actually is a creator, if there is, then he created you for a reason with a purpose. And when you find him, you will find your purpose. When you find him, the creator, then you'll know the very reason you were made. And for me, this is why I study the Bible. And this is why I connect to the creator. As the Bible says in Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. Why? He already knew what the purpose of all human beings were, even before we were created. If you want to know your big purpose, this is something that I hope that many of you will be able to search for also. Find a local church, find a friend that goes to church, ask them, not for anyone else, but only for you. So many people go to church for business. People go to church to find a girlfriend. People go to church to find a husband or wife, whatever it is. No. In the end, it's just between you and the creator. That's all it is. And I would give this talk. And from this point on, what I would do is, this is where I will meet and greet with students and go even deeper into the gospel for the people that are really interested in stuff.